What is going on there, citizens of the Reject Nation? We are here to watch The Last of Us Episode 6 today. Of course, joined by my one and only Andrew. Andrew, my one and only, how are you, Mr. Igor 711?
I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to the continued journey of Ellie and Joel off to Mordor. I'm looking forward to it.
I thought you were going to say I was looking forward to Henry and Sam's journey.
No, I think it's too soon for that. I think I overshot that joke when I did the Bill and Frank one, so I wanted to give that one a rest for this week. Maybe next week I'll come back with that one.
Yeah, we'll see what characters die next. Alrighty, guys. Well, you know the drill. Leave a like. I got a G Fuel in my hand. If you want 20% off G Fuel, go to the promo code in the description box. Reject Nation. It's not a sponsored video, but hey, it's always a nice perk that you can get from the real rejects. And I'm always drinking these things. You know, subscribe, click that notification bell because we only got a couple of episodes left on this show. I can't believe it. It's coming around the corner. Full-length reaction watch-alongs where you sync up with your own copy of The Last of Us, available for our super sexy rejects over at our Patreon page. We cover several things exclusively over there as well. Appreciate everyone who's been here. Your support has been not overlooked. That sentence could have been said better. Let's see what's going on. It's like an hour long. Let's do it.
Give me the gun, Henry. Give me the gun. Henry, no!
Winter.
Time jump.
Yep.
Same text from the game. Dead animals.
Well, that's how it started in the winters. That's why.
Bow and arrow.
Tatanka from Dances with Wolves.
Who the hell are you? Take the gun out, 2 fingers only, put it out of reach.
He didn't hurt me, by the way.
Yeah, I got eyes.
He's got a girl with him.
Can I come down?
No. Ellie. What did I just say?
Joel, come on, there's like 1,000.
I need you to tell us where we are. If you got a map, why you lost?
Must have missed all the street signs in the enormous forest.
Holy. We're somewhere here. Exactly where? And your answer better be the same as your wife's.
Yeah.
You telling the truth?
Yeah?
Are you telling me the truth?
Yeah?
I love this couple.
Yeah, they've got an interesting dynamic.
So you haven't heard the name Tommy? Nope.
What about the fireflies?
We get those in the summer.
Not the bugs.
There are firefly people?
Her delivery.
You got any advice on the best way west? Yeah. Go east.
If your brother's west of the river, he's gone.
Joel?
What's going on?
Shut up.
Holy shit, are you dying?
Okay.
PTSD?
Just a reminder that if you're dead, I'm...
Shut up, fine.
I think he's having a panic attack.
It's gonna be easy. All we have to do is cross the river of death.
If he did have a panic attack, he sure recovered quick.
It's always been my favorite in the game when it's cold weather, rain or snow.
That's my favorite section too, for sure. You are something else, Gustavo. So good.
I'm starving. Should have stolen 2 rabbits.
We can get our own rabbits.
You gonna teach me how?
Dude, some of these locations are just gorgeous.
Can I have some?
No.
What, just to warm up? Yep. So gross.
Still gross. Get the reference?
Yeah.
You can do anything you want. What are you doing?
An old farmhouse, some land.
Cool. What kind?
Sheep. Sheep. They're quiet. Do what they're told. And what about you? Where are you gonna go?
Or else to look it up. I read everything I could in the school library. Like Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin.
Nah.
You know who my favorite is?
Sally Ride.
Sally fucking Ride. Best astronaut name
Astronaut,
ever.
yep.
It'll work, right? The vaccine.
It's a little late to start wondering.
I tried with Sam. I knew he was infected.
Just wondering if they talked about it.
I rubbed some of my blood into his bite. I wanted to save him.
Get some sleep. Dream of sheep ranches on the moon.
That's what The Last of Us Part 3 is about.
Still mumbling in your sleep.
Oh.
You can't do things like this.
But I can. Because I just did.
I'm responsible for you, okay?
Then don't fall asleep. I looked for tracks, I found the high ground, and I kept watch, like you taught me to. What can I say, man? I'm a natural.
She sounds more and more like Ellie, slowly becoming indiscernible. That's gorgeous.
Oh, she's trying to whistle.
I'm learning how to whistle.
You don't know how to whistle?
Sound like I know how to whistle?
No.
Seriously, though, how the f do you do that? You should teach me how to hunt.
Not so sure about the dressing.
What's the dressing?
The part where you take the guts out.
Oh, yeah. Why do they call it dressing? It's like, you should call it undressing. Because it is. It's like undressing.
Oh, here we go.
Damn.
Ah.
So that made electricity?
Don't ask me, I don't have a clue.
You know, you could have just made something up. I would have believed you.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
We ain't looking for any trouble, we're just passing through.
Drop the gun. Take 5 steps back.
How about we just talk this through?
How about you shut the f up?
Okay, easy.
Damn, who are these guys?
I think I have an inclination, but I don't want to spoil.
There's no infected out here.
The hell there ain't.
The dogs.
Oh, no. Don't go to Ellie.
Like I said, we'll just move on.
Now her.
No.
Oh, damn, that dog's being a dick. Ah, yes, it is the PTSD, you're right.
Oh.
Shit.
Boy, never felt so much tension.
Just looking for my brother. It's all, nothing more.
Oh, damn, is that? Okay.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Joel.
Starts with an M, so you're thinking?
Yeah. It is. Okay, all right, yeah. I couldn't tell if it was Tommy's people or not.
That's what I meant when I said I had an inclination.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool to see it in live action.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Wow. Shit. That's a surprise.
Oh, I love it.
I was not expecting it
Yeah,
to
not at all.
be this.
Tommy!
Haha. Let me guess, it's the same shirt he wore. Paul's gonna let us know.
Yeah, that is the same jacket from the second game.
What you doing? I came here to save you.
Wow. This is really surprising.
It's been a while since we've had a proper meal.
Actually, I don't think I've ever had a proper meal. This is fucking amazing. What?
No way. Yes. I was.
Kids around here don't usually look or talk like you.
Oh,
I
what?
can't believe it.
What is happening right now?
A bad reputation doesn't mean you're bad.
Not always, at least.
She's from True Blood.
We're grateful for your hospitality and all, but it'd be nice to have a moment here, maybe just for family.
Maria is family, actually.
Oh, shit. Congrats. Joel, say congrats.
Congrats.
We settled here about 7 years ago. Just a handful of us back then.
Welcome to Jackson.
All this open country out here, it's a turkey shoot. I still got my 700, but I found a variable power scope. Sub-MOA.
How does he sound so Tommy?
How do you keep this place quiet?
Carefully. Being in the middle of nowhere helps. Not advertising what we have, saying off the radio.
Snowball fight.
You draw power from a dam.
Got that working a couple years ago. After that, sewage, plumbing, water heaters, lights.
Holy shit. This city doesn't exist till the second game, so it's just
Yeah.
kind of like gnarly to see it all here. And then, of course, some other characters we won't spoil.
No one person's in charge. I'm on the council, democratically elected.
Everything you see in our town, all shared. Collective ownership.
So, communism.
It is that, literally. This is a commune. We're communists.
No way.
Couple months old. You want a pet her?
Yeah, what's your name?
Shimmer.
Oh,
Whoa!
dude, this is too much.
Well, I'll take Ellie over there if you two want to catch up.
Yeah, okay.
Joel.
This is such a shock.
Yeah,
Like,
I was not
can't get over-
expecting this either.
I can't get over it. Got to reserve so many things. to say.
Oh, yeah. We got to be very careful with what we say afterwards.
What a...
Doesn't seem like you aged much.
You, on the other hand. Thanks for still giving a shit about me.
Christmas trees and bacon. Pretty decent setup.
Recognize where they're at.
So how's Tess?
She's fine.
And the kid?
She's the daughter of some firefly muckety-muck. Trying to find her family somewhere out here. So you know where they might be, these fireflies?
They got a base down at the University of Eastern Colorado. Yeah, I can't go.
What, because your wife won't let you?
Joel,
She the one who kept you off the radio? Am I the wrong people?
Joel, I'm
Those
gonna...
things I did, Tommy, those things that you judge me for. I did those things to keep us alive.
We murdered people. And I don't judge you for it. We survived the only way we knew how.
If you knew the shit that I've been through, Tommy, trying to find you these last few months.
I'm gonna be a father.
What?
Maria's a few months along now.
The surprises don't stop. God.
But I don't know. I feel like I'd be a good dad.
Guess we'll find out.
Oh, man.
I guess we'll find out.
What else am I supposed to say?
Dude, Pedro is such a good actor.
Just because life stopped for you doesn't mean it has to stop for me.
Go grab some supplies and be out of your hair in the morning.
Damn. Just that distance between them. Go searching for him, and then brothers living the best life ever. Dude, does Jackson have a therapist?
Straight from the game, the music. Oh.
Damn the hoodie, you know. Guess it's easier to build this than the whole dams and all that.
Maria.
Oh, are they gonna give us the scene that we don't actually get in the game? Kevin and Sarah. Oh, does she have a kid too? Before?
Go ahead, try it on.
It's super fucking purple.
Who's been cutting your hair?
World-class salons.
I was an assistant district attorney. I put bad guys in jail.
I'm sorry about your kids.
It's okay. And kid, just Kevin. Sarah was Joel's daughter.
Yeah, we did get it. Wow.
There are clearly things you don't know about Joel.
Oh, like how he used to kill people? I know about that.
So then you understand my concern.
He doesn't do that anymore.
He stopped killing people?
Innocent ones. And Tommy did it too. Are you worried about him?
Touche.
Tommy was following Joel. The way you are now.
Well, maybe I'm smarter than Tommy. No offense.
Ooh. Dude, love Belly.
Be careful who you put your faith in. The only people who can betray us are the ones we trust.
Interesting.
I understood where they were going with that.
Hi. Just met Lucy.
What did you tell her?
I was moving.
I'm legit mesmerized right now. I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow, they're doing all this right now. And they're obviously making bold choices and new choices. Wow. Oh, dude, look, the whole workshop to make the weapons.
Yeah.
You've had people go that way and come back.
All of them. What is this?
She's immune.
There it is.
She got infected, but she didn't get sick. I saw her get bit myself. That was months ago. Months. She's immune.
Damn, they really do feel like brothers.
She made me swear to take the kid. It was her dying wish. What the hell was I supposed to do? We made it as far as KC. You know, she saved my life there. From another kid. 5 years ago, I would have destroyed him.
Yeah.
But she had to shoot him to save me. Because I was too slow and too fucking deaf to hear him coming.
I acknowledge it.
Today, I thought that dog was going to tear her apart. I was so afraid. Lately, there are these moments where the fear comes up out of nowhere and
Stilted.
my heart feels like it stopped.
Paralyzed.
What kind of dreams?
I don't know. I can't remember.
But they haunt you.
I just know that when I wake up, I've lost something.
Oh.
I'm failing in my sleep. It's all I've ever done. It's failure.
Ouch.
I'm just going to get her killed. I know it. I mean, it's why you took off on me, right? To make up for the things we did.
Damn.
You're younger than me. You're still strong. You said it yourself. You'll come back. You have to take her. If anyone else sees those bites on her, what's under her skin, they'll shoot her. It's the last thing I'll ever ask of you. I swear.
Wow.
I would take her out at dawn.
I like these enhancements.
Is this really all they had to worry about? Boys, movies,
Oh.
deciding which shirt goes with which skirt.
Nice.
It's bizarre.
I came here to talk to you.
No, why are you still here? If you're gonna ditch me, ditch me. You know, I stood up for you today because I thought...
He knows the area better than I do.
Do you give a shit about me or not?
Of course I do.
Then what are you so afraid of? I'm not her, you know. Maria told me about Sarah and...
No, don't say another word.
Man.
But I've lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everybody I have cared for has either died or left me. Everybody fucking except for you! So don't tell me that I'd be safe with somebody else, because the truth is, I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad. We're going our separate ways.
Wow. I think it's a brilliant adaptation, man.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Just how they choose to bring these certain scenes to life.
Yep.
But when to use it and the slight changes to make. Brilliant.
I thought that was I was scared that was the ending.
And I like that they play more into Joel falling apart.
Yeah.
You came here to say goodbye or something?
No, I came here to steal one of these horses and go.
I would have gave you one.
I know. You deserve a choice. I still think you'd be better off with Tommy.
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. There's just things that happen in this show that make me so happy.
There's a place for you here. Both of you. Can I borrow that?
Yeah.
Because Maria took mine, you know.
I already said yes, Joel.
Don't talk about my wife.
Adios, big brother.
Oh, yeah. You ride that horse. T-shirt?
I think so.
You're flinching.
The target's too small.
I made it bigger than I should have. Eject the cartridge.
I'm not flinching.
Mm-hmm.
Rifle just sucks.
Okay, give it.
Yeah.
Deep breath in, slow breath out. Squeeze the trigger like you love it. Gentle, steady, nice and slow.
You gonna shoot this thing or get it pregnant? It isn't gonna work. It doesn't aim right. You dick.
Asshole. Wow.
I think this is the end credits music in the game.
I don't want this episode to end.
I know, right?
Back then, there were basically two main ways of looking at things. Some people wanted to own everything, and some people didn't want anyone to own anything at all.
Which one were you?
Neither. I just did my job. We were called contractors.
It's a contractor. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we were cool. Everybody loved contractors.
Great shot.
Don't end.
Please.
Don't end. I feel you ending.
Okay, so if you mess up your fourth down and you give the ball to the other team,
Hey, talking about football.
It's called a turnover.
Yes.
if you make it to 10 yards, then you're back to first down. So basically just moving in one direction.
Made it in 5 days.
I don't know what Tommy was so afraid of.
Still time to find out.
Still time to find out. The contractor.
Colorado. Wow.
Holy shit.
They've done it.
This way.
Wow. Oh.
People would live here and go to classes and stuff,
Yup.
even though they were adults.
Sort of adults. I think it was just as much about partying and finding themselves as anything else. I don't want a sheep ranch, actually. I mean, if the deal is I can do anything.
That's the deal.
Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a singer. Why is that funny?
You gotta sing something now.
No,
Come on, man. I'm not gonna laugh.
you're already laughing.
Oh.
Well, you're singing for me later. I'm gonna save the fucking world, man. That's the least you can do for me.
Fair enough.
Love that you get to see their faces for the shots, just like in the game, and you're like tracking behind them.
Are those monkeys?
Monkeys!
The old labs.
Look at them go.
First time seeing a monkey.
First time seeing a monkey. I love this. It was on a piece of wall in the game, but that's good enough. Oh, this is happening.
We'll see. You know how this show can be sometimes. This is cool still.
There's a vending machine, guys. Get your health bars.
There's a packing list. Something you make before moving.
Maybe not all of them.
Pulsating ass music right there.
Yeah.
At least it ain't clickers.
Yeah, no fireflies either. Maybe none of that research they turned into fucking monkeys. That's where they went.
All the pins lead there. Maybe getting ahead of the weather. I don't know.
You can hear them. Oh crap, we're gonna be getting a cliffhanger, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Save it. No!
Ooh. Yes, the grab from behind. Oh,
Nicely done. Ah, yep.
no. Oh.
Nice. Like a Western. Is there a monkey on top of that?
They're not following us.
Oh no.
Joel? Joel, no, no, no! Shit! Joel? Shh. Joel, open your eyes. Open your eyes. I can't fucking do this without you. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. What the fuck I'm gonna do. Joel. Please. Joel, please.
Wow. Shit. Job well done. So much to talk about. Holy balls, and can't talk about the future, of course.
Yeah, we got to be careful what we say.
But holy shit, that was amazing. The short version is if you've played both games, you'll know why we were getting excited at certain things and a certain appearance by what was clearly a cameo of a character.
Which we won't go into.
Because, yeah, I mean, I think the main presumption that a lot of people have had, even for those that haven't played the game, is that they're just going to do the first game. So to see so much, like, we've seen, like, things that are like, oh, this is thematically pulled over from the second game. This was like, oh, this doesn't happen until the second game. Like, a lot of this doesn't happen until, like, way later. This is kind of insane to see this all brought, like, they're really setting it up, and it does make sense to me to cover some of that. And Like, as much as I love this episode, and I really did love this episode, while it, was light on action, no infected whatsoever, I still, I do, there's one criticism I have that I'm going to reserve. I will say it. It's not a spoiler criticism. There is one criticism that I have, and it's not like, oh, the game did this, why didn't you? It's something that I genuinely feel like I would have had even if I hadn't played the game, and I'm curious. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I am curious to see if other people who haven't played the game will have this feeling. But regardless, as this episode went, I thought it was so great to keep it focused on the core wounds of both of these characters, primarily Joel. Like seeing this has been a big journey since episode 1 for him to try to get to Tommy, and when he meets up with him, like in the game itself, it's relatively light. It's not. They're like hiding out at a dam essentially.
Yep.
And they got plans for stuff, but to see this is a much more. This hits a more. That's why I like the change, because it emotionally hits a lot harder when you're like, I didn't even bother to inform my brother about this safe haven we have, this civilization we are prospering in. We've got animals, like literally this is the most, this city represents the closest thing to functioning as normal to before the outbreak ever happened. I'm married, I'm having a kid, and my brother, I didn't bother to tell about any of this, and he's so traumatized by everything he's been dealing with that he can't. It's like you could just see the array of emotions that Pedro Pascal's going through as all this information is being received. The anger that can be happening from not being informed or being excluded from all this information, because one way to register, like, my brother doesn't care to tell me about any of this. Oh, because of your wife, whatever. What do you view me as? Am I that much worse of a person? And then also the life that he's having is the life that Joel has repressed, because you never thought something like Jackson could be possible, and everything with Sarah, that entire lifestyle is a thing he has just been in denial over, and anything that comes close to the surface of it just sends him into a panic attack state. And I thought breaking that down in this episode, where he's just coming head on of having to leave Ellie behind, a moment where Ellie could be killed and he freezes up, having to confront his brother, all that coming to the surface to then get to a transitional point for this character where clearly he's being more, playful and friendly and open now with Ellie. Just, you could see it after the whole horse ride over to Colorado. He's just so much more lifelike. He's smiling and making jokes and opening up to her. I wanted to be a singer and all that. Even different than the beginning of this episode. So I thought, like, because while they do skip over a lot in the game, like they do. Like, don't get me wrong, they do. There's some stuff I would have liked to have seen.
The whole
more.
dam sequence, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was a nice surprise. Even the the escape from the university.
Yeah, it was much more shorter in this version.
Yeah, whereas in the game, it is very much like you have to go through some bad guys, and then when he gets injured, he gets knocked through a window and lands on a pipe.
He falls off the guardrail and then lands on a pipe thing that's sticking out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't a window. Yeah, I just remember that up on the floor and he fell. Which I'm sure in like a real life live action, it might be like, would he have survived that?
Yeah. Well, I thought that in the game too, but yes.
So that's what I mean. But it's much more intense, and Ellie's having to like really help him to escape. Where here they take a much more subdued approach to it. But that's not even my complaint. But before I even say what that is, Andrew.
First, I want to give myself a little pat on the back. I made that joke at the very beginning in my intro where I said, they're on their journey to Mordor, and then we got a couple fake outs at the ending where if you've seen Return of the King, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That movie's the king of fake outs when it comes to endings. I agree with that.
Just the amount of traveling, too, feels like very Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, of course. I just meant that it's just interesting. I make that point when an episode has multiple endings. It felt like. But not a complaint.
Right.
Just an observation, but I agree with everything you said. I felt like, the changes that were made here, or not even changes so much, like it was just a lot more emotionally drawn out and a lot more dramatic. Like, yes, you did feel that Joel was afraid of, being that protector that Ellie needed in the game, but here it's a lot more dramatic, a lot more drawn out, especially that scene he has with Tommy. Like, I really felt a lot more emotionally invested in that scene. Not that I don't love that scene in the game. It's really good in the game, but it's a lot more lighter in tone, whereas this, it's a lot more dramatic. You feel like, because they set up the whole PTSD moment, it really lends credence to the moment that we get here. And it's just
to clarify, you're talking about when Joel does open up and is asking
Tommy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Greg, listen, Greg.
Sorry, I was distracted by something that was popping up on the YouTube on the page.
You're good. I'm just messing with you. But yes, no, I appreciate that, and I gotta everyone who acted in that, especially Gabriel Luna. Damn, that man just sounds so much like Tom. It's ridiculous. And I'm almost think like Jeffrey Pierce is dubbing for him, but I know he's not. But just so much. It's really incredible. But I really got to tip my cap to Pedro Pascal and Belly. She is the level of depth that she goes to when it comes to emoting and just the emotional balance that she has as an actress. It's just incredible. Like the scene, for instance, just at the very end where Joel falls over straight out of the game. And, you do get Ellie's pleas of Joel trying to wake up in the game. But again, here, I like that they draw it more out. Like, you really feel it here in the show. Where she starts crying and, like, saying, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. And again, that was in the game. But again, it's just drawn out. It's more dramatic here. And I really feel it, emotionally to my core a lot more here, which I appreciate. And again, this episode, no clickers, no infected. I mean, a little sad about that always whenever we don't get infected. But again, with what we were dealing with from, Joel's perspective in terms of the PTSD, they did, again, that was touched upon in the game where he had a fear of, not being able to protect Ellie. But again, the way it's portrayed here by Pedro Pascal, I mean, just again, the level of depth that he goes through as an actor, it's really, really incredible. And I just didn't think he was able to go to that level. And I just really appreciate it. And again, just seeing Jackson, I was not expecting that, and a certain possible character, or not possible, a certain character that we did get, that was awesome. I thought there was going to be another one that I think you know who I'm talking about that we didn't get, but that was really cool that they did that. This episode, I mean, if you're a fan of the game, I really feel like most fans of the game are really going to love this episode, give or take a couple little things that they skipped over in terms of the dam and the University of Eastern Colorado, but for the most part, and obviously the way they figured out that they're at St. Mary's, it said it in Utah, rather, I'll just say that. The fact that they found that out on a map, it was a little different in the game where they found out on a voice recorder from a guy, one of the doctors or something, the Fireflies that was still, that had died there. Not a big deal. I don't think that's going to bother too many gamers. So I think what I loved again about this episode is the expansion, the good changes that they made, but also like you're going to, in my opinion, you're going to appease gamers with this episode, but you're also going to appease people who haven't played the game and just like good damn television. And I think this episode really did a good job of that. When you talk about an episode that it was more on the dramatic side and less on an action side, when you're thinking of something in a post-apocalyptic world, and I also too got to give credence and applaud to the cinematography and the locations in this episode and the way they used the snow in the background and all in the foreground and all that was so damn beautiful. I mean, these locations were freaking amazing.
Yeah, they had a great sense of atmosphere throughout the entire episode, and we got to hear more of the tracks from the games as well implemented throughout. I thought this helped build out the world even more, which was excellent. And I do want to speak. I do really want to speak on from like game comparison in a way that's very complimentary to the show, because there are certain scenes in here that are that scene is in the game, but when it occurs in the game is very different, and the placement, I'm not just talking because it had like a bunch of other stuff or something like that. It's the lead into the scene is so different that it recontextualizes a lot of the scenes.
Yep.
Like, for example, that moment where you're talking about with where Tommy learns about Ellie, that happens pretty early, much earlier on when he does reunite with him
at the dam. And
in the game, he's not even searching for Tommy. He's not even like looking for him, right?
No, they were looking for Tommy.
But he was looking for Tommy to get to the Fireflies. right?
Yeah, well, because he wanted to drop Ellie off at Tommy so he could take her to the Fireflies.
Yeah, but like I mean, in the game, it's more so they have had a falling out of sorts.
Correct.
Whereas in the show, he's like, I haven't heard from my brother. I'm worried about him. I need to go find him.
Correct.
Like, that's the
Correct.
difference with this.
Correct.
Like,
That's
he,
correct.
He enters here worried. Like, I don't know what's happened to him,
Yes.
and I'm afraid he might be dead.
Yes.
So they even have that scene that's not in the game at all with that Native American couple at the top of this, which I thought was a great scene, by the
I
way.
liked it.
But when he does tell him, they have that conflict first, where he doesn't open up to him, where they get into a fight, and then he eventually tells him. And whereas in the game, he still remains a lot more hardened, but gets a little soft. Here, it boils down to he feels like he's not good enough. I feel like she will die in my hands, which I think adds just so much more weight to this character development of a guy who's having to overcome so much, rather than I'm afraid of connection, which Pedro Pascal already brings to this character. It's a fear that he will repeat the same mistake that happened with Sarah, which I thought made it so much more impactful. And where to place it in this episode, and with the context of how they built Jackson, he's going to be a dad, I think makes him telling Tommy and asking that favor of him so much stronger. And even the scene where Joel and Ellie, they do have that confrontation where he's like, "You're right, you're not my daughter." That whole scene, so much of that is like, I'm sure most of that was just like dialogue directly from the game.
Yes, it was.
But when that occurs in the game, it's the lead into that is very different.
Much different.
Whereas here, it's a lot more of a solemn, like, we're gonna say bye. She learns about it, and then she's like her chilling in a room. That's not the case in the game, right? And it emphasizes the dramatic moment more, and because you had the scene prior where you're seeing that he's not just being some hardened asshole who's like, I got to treat her like she doesn't matter to me. Where because I don't think in the game he doesn't tell her, I care about you. Does he say that line? That's the part that stood out to me, where he says, do you even care about me? And he says, of course I do. Is that in the game? That's the part that stood out to me.
If it is, I'm not remembering right now, but I don't recall that in the game.
Because other than that line, I'm like, everything else sounded like it was from the game.
For the most part, everything else was, from the game.
Because he's coming into that scene already much more vulnerable versus how he was in the game. So, like when he gets hurt by what Ellie's saying, then his defense mechanism rises back up and says that. And I like the way the context is displayed here a little bit more, actually, because some have criticized the Pedro Pascal portrayal. I've heard some of it, being a little bit softer. He's not as much of a hardened asshole. He's definitely got more of the depression wearing in his eyes.
Those people skipped over the scene where he was beating the crap out of that guard with the fist, but I don't.
I really love what they do. I really love what they do. The criticism that I had was, I wish, because of the fact that because one thing that this show does that's really cool to me, because a lot of those moments where you see us getting excited, like when they're on the horse, you're still doing gameplay in those scenes when you're playing the game, right? So it's a tracking shot of behind, so you're not actually, it's not a cut scene, but the dialogue is still happening. Whereas here, they get to treat it more like a cutscene, where you can actually focus in on the characters, you can see their faces, see their reactions. So I think that's really cool that they're taking moments where the dialogue exchange happens during gameplay, and you get to make a whole scene out of it.
Yeah.
So you can really focus on the actors,
Good
and I think
point.
it's really cool.
Very true.
But with that, so much of the bonding between Ellie and Joel happens during the gameplay and not necessarily cutscenes. And I wish we had more of them bonding together, but before getting to this moment where they might split apart. That's the one part of this that because so much of that bonding happened off screen, that all happened within that 3-month period, that we didn't get to see. Yeah. And what helped make up for that is the fact that I really felt like the actors, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, they really brought their A game and built whatever that 3-month history was together, because you can see their relationship changed. You can feel that their relationship changed, and the way they interact has really changed. So yeah, I buy it. I just feel like I still do feel that even if I didn't play the game, I'd be left going, I wish we got to see them bond more before we get to the episode where they might split apart, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think this episode really nailed, like, again, not the cut scenes, but the scenes where you are actually in control. You're seeing more of the back of their heads, and then you have that dialogue where they are bonding. So they really did nail that in this episode. So, I mean, no, I get where you're coming from. I mean, I just think their performances have been just so freaking good that hasn't bothered me as much. But obviously if they had expanded a little more, with them bonding, I'm not going to complain. I'm always down for some Belly and Joel. So, I mean,
Because the last episode they had just started really bonding.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying it hasn't. I guess it hasn't bothered me as. I'm not saying it's bothering you like crazy or anything, but it hasn't been a thing that's an issue for me. But I get where you're coming from. I can see where you're saying. And again, if they would have had more scenes like that, heck yeah, I'm down for it for sure. So, but I think that's a very fair criticism that you make. I do also really like that scene that they had with Maria and Ellie. I thought that was a great expansion and scene because we didn't get it. At least, I don't remember in either game where we heard that Maria had a child and lost that child. So just getting the expansion, so getting the expansion on her character, and then also seeing the way that she defends Joel, like it just the interaction that she had with Maria, I really appreciated that conversation. But I appreciated more was how she was defending Joel so quickly, and just like just how sharp she was, her intellect. That's Ellie. It was just to the T. And again, we'd never gotten that scene in the game, so that's what I love about the show. And I think you were just when you're like, this is just how you do an adaptation. Like they just know where to pick their poisons when it comes, or rather their strengths, rather when. They're doing like a shot-for-shot thing with dialogue or imagery, visuals, when it comes to the game or stuff that they're expanding upon. And, I mean, they're just really nailing it on the head for me. And, again, I really like that expansion we got with Maria's character when she was cutting her hair, which kind of an Easter egg to her cutting her hair. But
actually, the thing about the kid, if I can interrupt for 1 second.
Yeah.
Which I think is neat because so much happens in a world like this is there's the trauma bonding element.
Yeah.
We're all kind of experiencing a universal trauma bonding because of the thing. And then both, but Sarah, I imagine in a lot of ways was like a daughter to Tommy too. So of course.
Yeah.
But the addition of that, because that scene happens where it's like Sarah told me, Maria told me about Sarah, but that happens off screen in the video game. So, the second they went to Maria's home, that's when I said, like, are we going to get that scene? I was like, oh, we're going to see how Maria told him. And I think it makes more sense because it always did kind of, I wouldn't say rub me the wrong way, but whenever that came up in the game, I was like, why would that just come up in conversation with Maria and Ellie?
Mean, I get what you're saying, but just to defend the game, Joel and Tommy were off for a good 15, 20 minutes, so we don't know what was exactly talked about. Obviously, now we do, but I get where you're coming from now.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's such a...
We need to see that conversation.
We need to see that little bit, because even here, Maria doesn't go into this whole story.
Yeah.
She's not going... like, oh, Sarah died in the day of outbreak or something like that. And, she just realized she had a slip of one sentence and was like, never mind.
Yeah, well, also, I like the guardrails, too, on Maria, like, just being so protective of Ellie because, again, like you talked about, it's such a traumatic, like, everyone's gone through some kind of, trauma. So I think you make a good point there. And, by the way, you knew that I get a little off topic. That Tess also had a husband and a child that they didn't. You knew about that too, or no?
Yeah, I thought they mentioned that in the show.
Oh, did they? Okay, because if they did, my fault for forgetting. But apparently they had a deleted scene where it was like a flashback where she shot her husband.
Oh wait, no, that's where I heard it. Yeah, there was a getting all my information.
Yeah.
I'm getting crosswired.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my mind went to that just because we were talking about characters and their kids and all that stuff in the trauma. But yeah, getting back to this episode though, like I said, if you're a big fan of the game, I think there's a lot in here to appease you. Notwithstanding the damn stuff that they completely cut out, obviously, but I don't think it was honestly. I don't think that was really necessary. That was more of just action sequence and the dramatic part from the dam that they needed. They just moved it over to Jackson, which, again, we got some really good previews of stuff. And obviously, I'm allowed to say this. We got to see Shimmer. They even mentioned by name, so as you saw from our reaction. And again, just would I have liked the University of Eastern Colorado a little bit longer? Sure, but again, it's not something that's just the gamer in me. But I thought it was completely fine with the pacing of what they were doing in the episode. So yeah, overall, I really dug this episode. It's probably one of my favorite episodes. Just from the atmosphere, the performances from Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, like, just really elevated this episode to another level on top of all the things we got previewed to us. But and also too, just the moments we got from the game that were more drawn out, more emotional in this one. I mean, I really appreciated this episode a lot.
Well, I like seeing how their bond works with them learning how to hunt together, learning how to shoot.
Yes,
you know, seeing these skills that Ellie, because even though, I mean, she was taught some stuff in Fedra school.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal to say that.
No, you can say that.
I'm like, sometimes I forget, like, did the show mention this or not?
Even if they didn't mention it,
you
can,
that's a lot of before I say something. I mean, like, is this a big deal if I say this?
And Marlene even said in the first episode, like, that I sent you to Fedra school, so you can say that.
But yeah, in Fedra school, like, she learned how to shoot, but nothing like a rifle. To that degree, right? So seeing that. Ooh, next episode must be where we get some flashbacks too.
I'm thinking that too.
Oh, there's 3 episodes.
There's 3 episodes left.
Oh my god, I was like, how are they going to do this in 2 episodes?
It's either the next episode or it's episode 8. It could be episode 8, but I think it might be episode 8 with the flashback that you're talking about. That if you're a gamer, you know exactly what we're talking about.
I hope they really explore that,
because I think we know what's happened. Again, without going to spoilers, we know what's going to happen in the next episode. So, but
I mean, they go through. I do think that sometimes they skip over some. Sometimes I do get the impression like, oh, they just saw those hunters up, but then again, it's a lot less hunters. There's like 4 hunters. So I guess there's a scenario. I actually, you know what, that might just be the gamer in me too, of like, because it's not the same thing as the sniper in the last episode, where you're like, how did you just get around that so easily? They could have had such a good moment for tension here. Yeah. Even if I hadn't played the game, I would have had that complaint. But
I agree.
But here, you know, they see those hunters down there or whatever they are. They see them down there, and they just like are able to get to their horse pretty easily, you know. And to me, just even as a show viewer, I would have been like, oh, there would have been some cool moments to wring out some tension, because I think a part of Last of Us, the world that I love about it, is the having to sneak around and then kill some people, and you know, having to be really cautious. I like the stealth stuff. And I think this show is kind of absent, like keeps that not really present in the game and in the show, which kind of, that's one element that I'm like, I wish that was here.
There are still moments of tension in the show for sure, but there are other parts where I'm like, that, what you just specifically highlighted, that criticism, I will completely agree with you on. That kind of like with the sniper and then exiting Eastern Colorado. And then obviously we skipped the whole tunnel sequence in that last episode. But
even if it was just a show, I would have been like, oh, that would have been such a good moment to ring out. Like I would have been such a good tension sequence.
I agree, but
it goes by quick.
But that moment with the dog where it was about to,
that's a good tension movie.
That was great tension. Yeah. It's like, now I want to see that with people.
And dogs don't even come in till the second game.
Yeah. I mean, we see the one dog in the first game when they're at the dam, and Tommy says, I forgot the dog's name.
That's true. Yeah,
but I mean, the dog we didn't see him sniffing or anything, but that was it.
I mean, the other additional scenes that I think there's a lot of great additional, because a lot of the scenes are, there are scenes in here that are like that, the whole scene with the dog sniffing out, that's not in the game. And I think and none of this stuff with Joel getting emotionally triggered where he becomes stilted, you know, which, where he does get frozen when the trauma gets too strong for him.
Yeah.
That's not in the game either. And I think those are wonderful add-ons to do to your show. And
I agree.
I think that there's a lot of, see, the thing is, for everything that they don't provide for me from the game,
they add
add something else in here that I'm like, I love that.
Right.
I love that scene that they did, and it's usually just a character scene. It's not even like they gave me a different action scene. It's some character scene.
It's interesting you say that. It's like, you did the hard part, the character stuff, the dialogue. Now just come up with a tension-filled action sequence. You did the hard part.
Because that's the funny thing is most video game adaptations just try to do the action. And they don't do the character stuff.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
mean,
like, but they're doing the most important part because Last of Us is really known for its story and character.
Granted, we did get an amazing action sequence in the last episode where the bloater and all the
the
swarm,
clicker scene in the second episode is phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've gotten some incredible action sequences that have been filled with tension, but I agree with you. It's those little moments where it's like it just adds another layer. And again, this is not us saying we hate them. Obviously, we're obsessed with the show. It's just something that would just elevate it to another level, to the stratosphere, which it's pretty much already there as it is. But no, like in terms of characters and all the expansion and that kind of stuff, they've taken this to another level for sure.
I think it's only distracting when, like, I'm not distracted if you just skip over it. Like with Bill, all the shit with Bill that they skipped over, it doesn't bother me because they just completely skip past it.
Yeah.
So I'm not even really thinking about it. I'll be thinking about it when I'm like, oh shit, we're about to go into that. Oh, they just kind of like really shortened the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And that's when I get distracted.
I agree.
As someone who's played the game, and because then I have to like kind of check my thought process. Like, is it just because of the game, or is it just because like that scene here at the when the hunters show up, I'm like, oh, that's a really tense ass game moment, and it's scary and intense, and at least that big dramatic moment.
Right, and then here they literally exit within 10 seconds of screen time, whereas I don't know how long it took, like in the actual context of the TV show, but in screen time it was 10 seconds for us, and there was no tension in terms of the exiting. Where in the game, like again, even if we're not gamers, but just pointing out in the game, it takes a good while to get out of there.
Yeah, because even finding like the lab stuff, you know, you have to really search the building forever.
Yeah, and I'm cool they skipped that.
Yeah,
that's
I'm cool.
fine.
I'm cool.
That's fine.
I'm cool with that because it is kind of just like, oh, how do you find all this shit again? You got to go through like a hassle.
Yeah,
but here, yeah, it only kind of like pings that part in my brain when
I agree with you.
When the show is like is telling. But see, like, I think they delivered that in the second episode.
Yeah.
Where
with the clickers.
Yeah, with the clickers, because there is that whole sequence with the clickers in the game, and I'm like, oh, they're delivering it, but they're doing it differently, and they're making it their own. And I do get that itch, but again, though, they're nailing the things that matter more.
Right. Of course.
They are. We could just sit here and only focus on the praises, but you know, like that's what John and Tara are for on the. Because they haven't played the game, so they're here to not even be concerned about it.
But I agree with you. Even if we hadn't played the game, I'd still probably say like, okay, like
they got there pretty fast.
They got out of there pretty fast. Or I agree with you. I think it's a valid, constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, they're nailing the most important things. So the characters, the emotional depth, and obviously, like I've always said from the beginning, if you can nail Joel and Ellie, everything else is just icing on the cake from there. And to me, for the most part, they have completely nailed Joel and Ellie thus far.
Yeah, and as two people who actually really love The Last of Us 2, where I know that it's a very debatable game for a lot of people, I was over the moon about seeing, you know that there's a divide.
Wait, everyone doesn't love Last of Us Part 2?
Yeah, it's not the same level of overwhelming love.
I thought everyone was obsessed with it the exact same way as the first game. It's not divided in any way, I thought.
Did you know, were you aware of this? It's a real thing out there, and it's a problem for people. But for me, I was like, I was way over the moon. And then seeing that one cameo,
oh my God, yes.
Like that is a pure Easter egg.
For sure.
That is the purest of Easter eggs, because only if you've played the second game will you have any idea who that person was.
You know.
And it wouldn't even be a spoiler for me to say the name, but I just won't.
No. We're better than that, people.
Yeah.
We don't wear T-shirts that spoil game.
Well, sorry. We'll wait till we're reacting to heavy spoilers video. So
we'll let Paul do the spoiling for us, and then we'll expand upon certain cameos and other foreshadowing things for the future.
And it is kind of cool because I didn't realize that because they've obviously changed the ethnicity
of Maria, right?
Of like a lot of the characters here. Well, just like a few, just Joel and Tommy, and Sarah. But but it was kind of interesting to pick up on, like, because I had no idea that they I didn't even think like who's playing Maria. I didn't even think about that for a second.
But once she started getting closer to
I was
him,
like, that might be Tommy's wife right
well,
there.
yeah, well, once you said too, I mean, I was already thinking that, but once you said, "Is this who I think it is?" I was like, "Oh, this is." I was thinking exactly that's who I think it is too.
And I love her work. I've seen every season of True Blood. I love her work on True Blood. That's the only thing I'm really familiar with her on. And I think she's phenomenal on that show. And so to see her here on another HBO show gets me really excited. And she does bring because Maria is like a warm presence, but also a stern presence.
And, yeah, I agree. And one last thing that I want to mention too, I really like how it was just a really quick scene, but I like that they were talking about how the town kind of formed and she was on the council and all that. Because I know you're. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the second game. You're a little bit bigger of a fan than I am. Do you remember that being talked about in the second game? Or?
I don't know, man. You remember like more trivia stuff better than I do.
This is true. I don't remember. I mean, I remember knowing that her father and her started up the town, but I don't remember talking about the whole council and all that. I knew Maria was in charge. I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't really commit to memory Maria facts.
I thought she was your favorite character in the game, dude. Come on.
She kind of just comes and goes in the game.
But either way, I thought that was a nice little introduction to the town and expansion and just, how it all got started and what they're doing there. So
yeah, no, this worked for me on I still loved it. I love the hell out of it. And then for things that I thought were missing from not having get more time with Ellie and Joel to bond prior, because I really feel like that scene would have just hit a million times harder if we had seen them bond together a little more.
Dude, I totally get where you're coming from. It hasn't bothered. Again, not saying it bothers you over the moon, but I agree with you. It would have been nice to get a few more of those scenes for sure.
Yeah.
Get a little more time to breathe with that, but I'm still loving what we've gotten so far.
That's the ironic part. It's like I still love the shit out of this episode. Like I love this episode. I didn't want it to end.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I did notice more in this. Like my brain was telling me during this. Like we are getting so many more scenes in this episode, particularly of not only them, forming a bond with each other. Like that's obvious, but just the scenes where you're in control, and again, the camera's to the back of your head, and they're just talking. Like those are some of my favorite moments in the game.
Yeah.
And you're not even there's no action happening in the game, and you're still in control. Yeah. But nothing's happening but dialogue and bond building. Like those are literally some of my favorite moments in both games when moments like that are happening. So again, I totally get where you're coming from. I would definitely like to see more scenes like that for sure. But so far, I've still loved what we've gotten.
Me too, because I really thought the actors at least brought the history for that 3-month gap.
Yeah, and that was another thing too that I think Pedro Pascal and Gabriel Luna, like they really nail that bondship that they have as brothers. Like you really feel the history those two have with each other. Sure. They have such electric on-screen chemistry together when it comes to them playing brothers with each other, and just the way like how he broke down in front of him. Like I mean, I've had conversations like that with my brothers, so like I could totally relate to that, and I felt that between the two actors, and just again, this show is so damn well made on all facets. It's really impressive.
And the thing with that moment too, with I could talk about every scene, because there's not a scene here I didn't like. That's the thing is like I just wish I had some other scenes. But even the way he was doing the crying scene, because like there's many ways an actor can choose to do something like that. And I like that it wasn't just like him bawling, because Joel, this interpretation wouldn't bawl. Like he would be fighting, he would doing everything he can to not really cry, So I like that it was more of like he's fighting tears.
It gave me to a foreshadowing of a future moment, which I know you know what I'm talking about, but we'll talk about it off camera in terms of the crying.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, a great episode. This left me over the moon. At the end of the day, I was still left over the moon.
Yeah. No, it was
I didn't want it to end.
I love that. But I think that was part of one of my favorite parts of our reaction to this episode. Is like, don't end, please. I mean, I always feel that way when we're getting towards the end of all these episodes, and obviously, to me at least, subjectively,
this particular episode.
No, it was really not end, please. Yeah. I know, like in the last episode when you were probably thinking like more Kathleen scenes, Kathleen
I wanted more.
scenes.
Everyone was thinking that. All right, guys. Well, thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe. 3 more episodes to go. and I can't wait for this. Man, I can't believe that is, as a gamer, because I know that doesn't really. I'm sure I really do wonder what. I mean, I imagine it's still effective for audience members who haven't played the second game, but for people who are fans of the second game, I'm like, wow, what a treat.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either. That was
not
this whole experience. I was like, this is the most shocking thing.
Also,
I think to
and
see.
also too, one other thing. As much as I love HBO Max and Neil Druckmann and all of them, I've been a little bit sad that they've been kind of spoiling some preview stuff, like for next episodes and stuff. So
Sure.
I'm just glad, like,
it allows us to put things in thumbnails then when they do that.
That's true.
Because
That's
then I
true.
can go, well, they're showing it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So I was really like genuinely happy, like not knowing anything about this, and like, oh my god, I was not at all expecting that.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I had a great time, and hey, let's end this with a lucky pick. Gabriel, in honor of Gabriel Luna, we are shouting you out today. Gabriel, I hope that Valentine's Day has passed, but I hope you had a banger of a Valentine's Day. I hope it was romantic or at least frisky. And if it wasn't, that's even better. Trust me, you don't want to be trapped. It's like having a constant handcuff on you. It's disempowering and emasculating. So she doesn't make it this far in the videos, nor does she watch a frame of them. So I'm safe. Gabriel. If she asks, I love her, and I will always be obedient to her at all costs. But Gabriel, I consider you to be a very kind soul. When you hear a name like Gabriel, don't you just kind of automatically assume they're a nice person? I've never met a dick named Gabriel.
Dude, for sure. I mean, what's Gabriel Byrne was evil in End of Days, but we got Gabriel and
The actor is
I know,
known to be a
I
nice
know, but
fella.
I'm saying we got Gabriel in The Patriots, one of my favorite characters, Heath Ledger. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go, man. So, and Gabriel Luna, I hear, is a gent as well. And Gabriel in the dictionary means God is my strength. Holy crap. Well, you know what, Gabriel? You're our strength. We don't need God. We just go to you. So thank you for being you. Hope you have a great rest of 2023. And if you're single, go out there, mingle. And if you're taken, go be shaking and aching with her. Shake and bake, baby. I don't know why I did that, Jester. I'll see you, buddy.